everybody. Welcome to the weekly bump. Thank you guys so much for being here as always. This week we're doing 3 piles, piles 1, 2, and 3, with the Carnelian stone, a Polychrome Jasper, I almost forgot the name of it, Polychrome Jasper, and a Chrysocolla. So go ahead, take a moment, take a beat. If you're feeling drawn toward one pile, then that is the pile for you. If not, don't worry, you can always just randomly select one or multiple. If you're feeling, maybe more pulled toward 2, that's perfectly fine. If you have a question, feel free to ask because you just might get an answer as well. If you need to pause the video, you're welcome to do so. Timestamps will be in the description box down below. Talk to you guys soon. Okay, pile number 1. You guys selected the Carnelian stone. Let's go ahead and see what these cards are doing for you guys. Okay, 3 of coins, 6 of swords, 9 of coins, the devil, 7 of cups, king of wands, and judgment. Okay, so the devil in the center. Well, I think we've all become very acquainted with our devil lately. I think that's, all year, right? That's pretty much what the journey has been. Really doing deep dives within ourselves, understanding how strong we truly are, how resilient we really are, understanding how deep it really goes sometimes. The layer upon layer upon layer that we were so easily distracting ourselves from because of life, right? We had a lot of life, and it's kind of interesting how the devil is in the very center here. Coming from the 3 of coins, 6 of swords, 9 of coins, to me this is kind of really kind of where you're coming in from. You're just doing your thing. You're working with partnerships, you're collaborating, you're getting creative, you're doing your things. Maybe you're, really kind of getting a side hustle going or something for you to be on your own, right? 9 of coins versus 3 of coins. There's a difference in atmosphere. There's collaboration and partnership and alliances with people here, and here it's total and absolute self-reliance with yourself. So to me, I feel like the 6 of swords, these birds kind of pulling you in toward this 9 of coins, but not to fully abandon this either. I think this is a balance of both. But also, both of these things have been distractions from the undercurrent. And you have not really been that much of a stranger, right? That the undercurrent is very real. It's very much pumping through you at this time. Otherwise, the devil card wouldn't be showing up. But I think it's a source of strength, not a source of toxicity or low vibeness. In fact, what I think is happening is you're truly merging. Because I think a lot of people who pay attention to tarot and astrology, we focus so much on the light and the love, and that's great. That's a beautiful thing. But we can't have only that, until we've really merged. And we need to merge the seen and the unseen. That which is in the forefront with that which is behind the scenes. Right? It's like we see a movie, we just only see the final end product, but there's so much that happens behind the scenes, and we need to reconcile that. And so I think you've become very well versed in this darker note or this darker tone, and not in a negative way in any way, shape, or form. It's just present. Now it's here, it's in your face. You feel it and you understand it. And I think you feel this on an individual level, and maybe some of you have been, researching a lot of things, discovering more about the world, and, maybe you're getting a little into the conspiracy stuff. I've seen massive, massive awakenings happening in my own personal life, like even with my mom, right? Like, holy cow, my mom knows about this now? Like, that's saying something, And if you've been down that path, I think there's a tug, right? And there's kind of like a little puppet mastery kind of thing happening here in this corner of this card. He's got his hand held out with the strings, and I feel like you're being tugged. And I don't think this is a dark force in your life. I actually think this is a light force, a force of light that is still forcing you to look at the reality of the situation, right? Because the devil is ruled by Saturn, so it is the things of the world, right? That the world and the spiritual realm, one and of the same, and yet somehow we can get so caught up in one or the other. We can become polarized in spirituality versus physicality. And this is a reconciliation of both. They both are true. They both exist. There is duality in both realms. And I feel that there's an understanding of that, and yet still a question of, well, what to do with it now? Great that you've learned all this, great that you've evolved, great that you're taking certain strides. Maybe you're changing your friend circles, maybe you're changing your views, your spiritual awakening often, often a spiritual awakening can make us feel a little bit more isolated or whatever, but ultimately that's something to be joyful and celebratory of. And I feel like, okay, great, now we've done this, and now what? Seven of Cups. See, this is where faith kicks in. I talk about faith a lot, and I feel that sometimes faith feels like an empty answer, and yet it is probably the most full answer. Because sometimes we always question, well, what can we do? Right? What do we do now? Now that you are more whole, now that you are stronger, now that you are evolved, and now that you've done this kind of separating a little bit, changing your circles, changing your friend groups and all that, now that you're there, now what? And I think the King of Wands is coming out here to say your gut will guide you, because this is an energy of Leo. We have the lion here, which is one of the most instinctual animals, highly intelligent, one of the animals whose senses, right? One thing I love about the animal kingdom is how in tune their senses are. We as humans, we rely so heavily on our minds, and yet we also, as part of the animal kingdom, have these heightened senses as well. And I feel like you're tapping into the deeper metaphysical communications that you receive from the energetic realm. That's part of the devil, right? The unseen, the unilluminated. You're becoming more instinctual, more intuitive every passing day, because I think it was exactly your instincts, it was exactly your spirit that pulled you in this process in the first place. This was an inevitability for you to reach this point. And because you've reconciled, because you've made peace with this devil energy, this Saturnian energy, and you've allowed yourself to get tugged in this direction, you now have this ability to rise above it. And that's ultimately where free will really kicks in, right? Like, it's hard for us to say we have free will when we are so completely programmed and we're so completely blind to the things that really drive us. But this is where true free will exists, when we really can make choices, because we have the ability to discern. We have the ability to detach ourselves from our, egoic emotions. We have the ability to do the 30,000 perspective, right? 30,000 foot perspective kind of deal. That's when we have clarity, and I think you're stepping into a life of deeper clarity. This is going to exist for all areas of your life. It's not just all spiritual, right? Like I said, it's the reconciliation of both. So this is about life choices that you need to make, financial decisions that you need to make, decisions about where to live, about whom to marry, about how to handle your children, about how to, go down a certain path or not. And I feel like everything, I'm not going to say it's going to be easier, but when you align with truth in this way, and you allow your heart to really, really be the nudge that you need, then there is only one direction anyway. And it's not even that hard, right? And that's one of the hard things about kind of isolating yourself from 3 down to 1. Again, I'm not saying you're all going to be like totally on your own right now. That's not what I mean, but you're going to be readjusting your circles to people that are on your wavelength. But this also means there's going to be a whole heck of a lot less noise, right? A whole lot less noise. and your mind will be more clear. Darkest fears and reach out. And I love the reaching, kind of as she's sort of ascending here out of her body. There's this reach out quality. That's lovely. I don't think this is necessarily a reaching out to any person. It's a reaching out to the higher intelligence, to the higher order. Now, interesting how we have this, the light beam here sort of traveling through the center of the card, and then we have the darkest fears, similar to the devil. This, to me, is exactly the reconciliation of the two sides of self. I sense you've made it through some sort of an abyss. It's kind of like a rite of passage that you've made it through. And there will be a time, that, of course, we always say this, right? We can look back and be like, oh, thank God I went through that. Thank God I learned that lesson. Because I think that's absolutely what's going to be happening here within the next 6 months to a year. Because now you know what your darkest fears truly are. And once you know what they are, you illuminate them, you draw them out into the light. They can no longer control you in any way. Fiery climax approaches, which is an indication that something is coming to an end. I would say the Saturnian nature of the devil as well is a suggestion that something is coming to an end. Also the number 20 of this judgment card here. You're reaching the end of a cycle. And fiery, right, definitely indicates, kind of a burning of the bridge. Meaning you can never go back. And I think you know that. Now, again, remember that Seven of Cups. I know that you don't know exactly how this is all going to play out for yourself, right? You don't know exactly, of course, you can't see the details. The King of Wands doesn't need details. Full moon power right next to the King of Wands there. And it's even a number 7 here, which adds up to, or 16, right? 6 and 1 equals 7, which is kind of the monk number, the number of isolation, the number of deep spirituality. Again, she's even kind of in a dark dress. So we have the Leo, which is ruled by the sun, and then we have the dark full moon here, the balance of the sun and the moon, the balance of the masculine and feminine. It's a completion. That's all. That's all I feel. And I think there are certain personality traits that have recently come out in you. Maybe you've been a little bit more direct with people. Maybe you've been a little bit harsh with your words. Maybe you have, been honest but also compassionate. Maybe you have forgiven someone or something. Maybe you have reached those levels. And when those things occur, that is when this unification becomes clear and obvious. Like, oh, okay, I'm more unified than ever before. Inspiration. And you will be receiving deeper inspiration as time goes on. I think your creative energy is really, really strong right now. I think your ability to see it in your mind and to take your hands and make it real is stronger than it's ever been. I do believe you're receiving a lot of innovative ideas. So whether it is just about your money, whether it is about your children, about where to live, there's going to be some out-of-the-box stuff happening. You still have Mercury in Cancer. In sidereal, though, he's in Gemini. So we do have the kind of mind and heart sort of mixture going on between the two systems. An emerging of the two. Generosity, partnership, and exchange. And I look at this 3 of coins here, and I do see an element of partnership and exchange, but perhaps it's an exchange of groups, an exchange of role between being a taker to being a giver. Right? Maybe you've had a pretty substantial change of heart. Maybe you've seen the error of your ways at some point. You know, I posted something that it's reminding me that I posted on Instagram. It was something like, it's really easy to recognize the moments in life when we were the victim. It's really hard to realize the moments when we were the perpetrator. And I'm wondering if that's what your devil really is you maybe looking back on your life and realizing when you were the one hurting somebody, or when you were the one that affected something in a negative way. Not saying y'all are, bad people by any stretch, but it's kind of an awakening moment when we admit to ourselves those kinds of things. And maybe you have someone in your life that you kind of hope that they would look back and realize, what they did and what they said and how hurtful it was. I do feel this word exchange is really hitting me. It's like a flip-flop of role. And your ability to see from all angles is beyond expert level at this point, at this juncture. And to not condemn anything, not to label anything as good or bad. That's the one thing that I've learned through my own spiritual journey, is that you do hit this moment, you do hit this level where you do not see good and evil in such a polarized way. Even though there are exceptional good things in this world and there are exceptional evil things, they are weirdly just merely different vibrations. And that's really all it is. And so there is no place to condemn anyone or anything, especially in your own individual lives. There are only open or closed minds, and that is all there is. And then you realize how malleable your minds actually are. And I'm kind of looking through these cards and I'm like, okay, she has kind of like a third eye crown thing here. We have this kind of crown chakra illuminated here. We have this sort of third eye light here. We have this powerful beam going through this woman here. You have an open channel, whereas many around you do not have open channels. And that's really all I see. Where can I create more space? That's what I feel this journey from the 3 of coins to the 9 of coins really is you creating space to create more, right? You've got 3 people, 3 coins, and here you've got 1 person, 9 coins. 1 person with a singular amount of effort produces 3 times the amount. The amount of joy, the amount of peace, the amount of all things. Simplification has been a big message for the year. And I think you are reaching a pretty beautiful, simplified place. Let's read the back here. Where can I create more space? Instead of filling yourself up with busy work and things to do, create more sacred space in your schedule, in your home, your mind, your lungs, and in your heart. Take time to just be. Do a cluttered detox of your schedule, home, and innermost self. Make space. Clarity will come. There is clarity for sure in this reading. And that's why faith came out strong with that 7 of Cups. Tick-tock. Weirdly, time has been a factor. And I think with Saturn in Capricorn, especially sidereally, yes, time is going to be very much on our minds. There is an element of time running out. There's an element of urgency. I don't know if you guys have been feeling it, but I've been feeling it a lot. Like, it's not necessarily an urgency to do anything. It's just an urgency to awaken. It's an urgency to get to this heightened state. An urgency to be in the best health that you can be. Let's see what else. Armadillo, set healthy boundaries. Yes, for sure. That's a big part of, the 3 to the 9, or the 3 people to the single person. Also, right, a lion. When it comes to a pride, the king of the pride has to continually assert his position in the pride, right? And there's continually fighting, to kind of prove I'm still the king. And I think there's a need for you to be a little bit more aggressive in your position, in your spiritual position, right? To really defend your place. And I think that may require massive transitions. The one thing that new beginnings, begin your new life. The one thing I'm noticing in this Six of Swords is there's six, right? 6 birds for the number 6. But 3 of them are flying away and only 3 of them are pulling this boat forward. And I feel like these are the 3 that are going to stay and these are the 3 that have to leave. So you're reducing by about 50%. All right, so we have 3 people here with 3 coins, 1 person with 9 coins. So you see that transition is kind of like the 80-20 principle here. Set healthy boundaries. Set firm on your new direction. Set firm on the new thing that you're hoping to reach or the place that you're hoping to go. And it is a time of new beginnings because we have this fiery climax. This is a phoenix rising from the ashes. We have fire here. Now, in sidereal, Pluto and Jupiter have been doing their conjunction at the very last degrees of Sagittarius. And, last year when they were hitting through, we had the massive, Amazon fire, we had the massive Australian fires, and we've had fires for a really, really, a lot of fires the past 10, 20 years. And I think this is kind of a Pluto through Sagittarius kind of vibe. So we're going to I think even just, with all the fires, with the riots and things, I think we definitely have a strong relationship with fire at this time. And it is time to metaphorically burn the things that no longer serve at this time, especially your own patterns, your own thought processes, your own toxic relationships that you have. It is time, right? Remember, tick-tock, there's a quality of time. It's time to make the change now. And the red stone absolutely giving you the power and the courage to assert yourself in those ways. Okay? All right, pile number 1. We love you so much. I love you. I hope you have an amazing week. Enjoy yourself, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 2, you guys selected the Polychrome Jasper. Let's go ahead here and take a look at your cards. Okay, Knight of Cups, Page of Coins, another Page of Wands, Ace of Wands, Temperance, 7 of Coins, and Justice. Beautiful. So one major arcana. This is I'm feeling kind of a very warm heart energy, just a feeling of being true to oneself, allowing things to come in for the sake of new beginnings, 7 of Coins, for the sake of growth. And I see no pressure coming from you whatsoever. Meaning, it's not really about hurrying up and doing anything. It's about what feels right. Some of you might be feeling a sense of resistance with something. I think if you're feeling a sense of resistance with something, then it's not for you. It's not right. And that's this Ace. I love this Ace of Wands with kind of her third eye, being illuminated there. There's a quality of just this, I know what I need, and I don't even know how I know. I think you're on the path toward inner freedom. Of course, inner peace as well. I love the 7 of Coins in this deck. Normally the 7 of Coins really kind of irritates me when it comes out, but this one gives me a sense of hope and a strong sense of optimism. Because I know you've been planting a lot of seeds, metaphysically and physically, right? Through your energy and through your actions. And I think slowly but surely, these pages, this Ace of Wands, it truly represents the opening of the doors. And the Page of Wands to me is also a highly optimistic energy. It's adventurous, it's passionate, it's curious. It has this kind of joie de vivre, if you will, this joy of life. And there's no judgment on anything, really. There's no judgment on like the past, there's no judgment even on the moment, and there's definitely no judgment in the future. And the Temperance comes out and indicates a balance always. We have the moon and the sun in his hands here. And that transition, that alchemical process of light to dark and dark to light, the exchange of energy. I think you're being very cautious about those with whom you exchange your energy, because there might be someone, for some reason I feel like this Knight of Cups is someone external coming in toward you. It could be a love energy that comes in, or a romantic energy, seeing as how this person, he's carrying roses and there's like a picnic in the card, right? It's kind of like a romantic emo vibe. Someone that is emotionally intelligent, and perhaps someone that you can just have a lot of fun with. Again, without worrying so much about what the future holds. That's what I love about the pages. It's not big, it's not heavy, it's not intense, it just is. And I think as you've worked hard to really simplify your life in a lot of ways, these are kind of universal rewards coming through for you. And whether you realize it or not, you're becoming stronger on a daily basis. You're emerging more and more out of the soil as this sprout is continuing to emerge. It's continuing to emerge. It's continuing to sprout. And then always justice is an energy of balance. And we have the balancing of the Temperance as well, the two cups, the light and the dark, the two sides of the scale. To me, I feel like everything is pretty smooth right now, or it could be. Through consciousness and through choice, it could be. I feel like there's this burning sense within you, this burning sense that something is definitely coming for you. And it's the kind of a sense that you can't avoid. I think that's a beautiful thing. It's just something to be enjoyed. Again, remember, there's an element of patience. There's no pushing anything forward, really. Base chakra and lead. I like the leadership energy as it indicates intelligence, emotional and mind intelligence. To me, the lead indicates what's right, quote unquote. So does the Ace of Wands, what's right. In a fearless way, base chakra. There's something so pure about the readings this week. Like, I don't think people are overthinking this a lot. Now that Mars is kind of, oh my gosh, now he's off of Neptune, thank goodness, right? Like last month, or I don't even know when those dates were. I'm like, so I have no sense of time anymore. I think that was in June. And then Mars and Chiron, that was kind of a strange buildup as well, but no significant events really happened. But now Mars is kind of free and clear until September when he does his retrograde. So things are kind of moving further along, more steadfast. And there is a purity because we've had the ability to adjust and get back to like our even point. Your dreams need a practical plan. Okay, so you're very much in the moment, which means there are certain decisions that are going to need to be made in the moment. And these in the moment decisions should actually be quite easy if you know where you ultimately are wanting to go. If this tree ultimately knows it needs to go up, then the decisions are actually quite simple. And I feel like you're getting and have been getting more acquainted with your contribution here on this planet. You know, we all have something, and it's likely something that you're already doing, whether you realize it or not. And by doing that thing, and by asking the universe, you know, how can I be more of service? The decisions that we need come to us, and then we make them, and our path evolves. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. For me, I feel like the biggest part of this is really determining what your dream is. And it's not about like having a boyfriend or having a husband, right? It's about the legacy that you wish to leave behind. And when you're aligned with this desired legacy, the universe will never stop giving you opportunities to live into that legacy. Growth. Oh, beautiful. With the 7 of coins, that's amazing. Growth. And that's a theme for everybody this year, for sure. You know, we've seen a lot, we've gone deep, we've experienced a darkness that we perhaps didn't really know or didn't realize was really there within ourselves, within our hearts. And because of that, we ultimately became more whole. And our roots have gone deeper, which means we can grow taller and stronger. And that's exactly what's happening for us spiritually. I'm seeing a lot more fearlessness in people than I actually would have thought, given how much fear is really out there, right? The fear mongering and such. But there's a lot more fearlessness than there is fear. And the people who are quiet, watching, observant, balanced, not quick to give opinions on things, those are the people that are going to like really dark horse humanity, right? Dark horse are like people that you never thought would like get to that front of the race, and then ultimately all of a sudden they're there and everyone is like, holy hell, like I didn't even know this horse's name, and now all of a sudden they're winning the race. How is this even possible? I think there are a lot of dark horses in this pile because you're just keeping a lot of things to yourself right now. But you're communicating with the higher self, with your guides. Be the hunter, not the hunted. Yeah, exactly. You're not afraid of stuff. That's this lead energy. You know, there's no pretense. It's all very pure. Be the hunter, not the hunted. This is your awareness. This is the Ace of Wands awareness coming through. Now, I know a lot of you, have relationship stuff going on. And this kind of new version of yourself that's emerging right now, definitely need to make sure that your partner's on board with that. Because this Knight of Cups, who is beautiful and wonderful, might not necessarily be on the same wavelength either. And the one thing I don't want to see is you holding yourself back to accommodate someone else. So just make sure that if you feel like you can't fully live into everything that you feel that you are, that you make the changes necessary. Because the world needs us at our fullest right now. And I think there are some people that are afraid to fully step into this. And then there are others who are like, heck yes, I am totally on board with that. Humankind, service, interconnectedness. Yeah, there is an element of service, for sure. But it's not going out and seeking like, okay, I'm going to go serve today. Remember what I said about the pages, how just perfectly in the moment they are. There's no like, I'm going to go out and seek anything. There is only faith that when you are needed, that will appear. We don't have to go all out and like change the whole world as a self, right? As an individual, right? We don't need to do that. We just need to be prepared for the time when it shows up on our doorstep. And I think you are, and I think that's what a lot of this really is. You've made a very beautiful switch into someone who is fully capable of truly giving in the way that giving is meant to be given. Some people give selfishly. Some people give because they have no clue how to help themselves. That's not what this is. This is healthy giving. And then we had, what excuses am I making right now? Okay. What does it say? No more waiting. There will never be a good enough time. The time is now. Okay, this came out in the first pile as well. There's a strong indication of timing. And there is a sense of urgency. And I think this has a lot to do with the keeper of time, Saturn, doing a retrograde in Capricorn, a Saturn-ruled sign in his rulership, right? So we have a window to make these changes. We can always make them in the future, but right now we're being astrologically supported so that when we make these changes, we can grow more quickly on the other side of the change. And because we have growth, because we have the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Coins, I am fully confident that if you step into this role, so to speak, that you will grow exponentially on the other side. Can't see it quite yet, but it's there. Treasure Island. That's why it's there. That's why it's there. There's treasure waiting for you. Waiting for you in the moment that you decide to step into your fullness, to step into your givingness, to step into your purity of heart. The seahorse spirit, watch and wait. Yes, the pages. There will come that moment. Absolutely, when it is ready to act, but you need to be aware, Ace of Wands. You need to have that open third eye. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what's going on around you. Be aware of the opportunities that present themselves. I said this last week. There are no coincidences right now. Everything is a synchronicity. Until all this stuff is done out of Capricorn and Saturn and Jupiter are well on their way in Aquarius in Western astrology, it's time for next 6 months. It's time for us to be really, really aware that there are no coincidences. And if something shows up on our doorstep, it's not an accident. And we need to take notice. And we need to act right then and there. No hesitations. I like the watch, right? Watch and wait. Watch, though. But watch with your third eye, not your own two eyes. Watch with your intuition. And face your fears. Release the power of fear. A lot of fear coming out in these readings, the past couple, or this one and the first one. And I just think that that's because a lot is up in the air. But ultimately, we are in control of much, much, much more. So we just got to jump on that horse. Here she is on the horse. We just got to jump on the horse. And we got to have faith that the horse is going in that right direction, right? The horse as a guide, as a divine entity, as a spiritual companion, if you will. Things are moving quickly, and yet we are perceiving them as barely moving. I love the sense of awareness going on, just pumping. It's just coursing through these cards. Watching everything with a third eye, a little bit skeptical. And yet, in a way, I feel like your stoicism is exactly the reasons why your growth, your roots can go down so deep. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm going to leave you guys with that. I love you. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 3. Let's go ahead here and take a look. We have the Queen of Coins, 7 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 2 of Coins, 9 of Cups, and the Empress, and 6 of Cups. Beautiful. Okay, well, I love the divine feminine showing up. which means you are highly receptive and highly creative right now. I do think this Mercury station direct is actually really heightening our connection, right? Our connection with our creative spirit. So that's really something. And I just love the unapologetic vibe that I'm getting from the Queen of Coins as well. To me, I love the way she just sits, eyes closed, really just enjoying her life, not feeling a lot of pressure to hurry up and do something, and completely unfazed by all of the noise going on around her. And of course, in the world today, there is so much noise. And I feel like you've surpassed a lot of that. I feel like you're aware, like when your own inner voice gets a little bit noisy, the way that this kind of raven is kind of squawking, right? When your own inner voice starts squawking at you, you have this ability to just be like, okay, that's my inner voice. It's just noise, and I don't need to listen to it. And this could come out in myriad ways. It could be through a fear that keeps popping up, or an insecurity, or a negative narrative that you keep running through your mind. But again, Queen of Coins, just back turned to it, completely unfazed, just observing it, but not trying to do anything to really control it. Now, you may have people in your life who are a little bit fear-mongery, right? People who are, maybe they're worried about the virus still, or they're worried about politics still, or they're worried about all sorts of different kinds of stuff. I would highly recommend not getting too involved in any of those kinds of conversations. Ten of Swords, I love the way that these birds are kind of flying away, because it does feel like a little bit of a release, meaning there is a changeover energy happening. I don't know if you guys can feel it. I tried my best to stay tuned of how am I feeling today, because other people might be feeling similarly. Not everybody, but maybe some people. But there has been a changeover now that Mars is kind of coming off of Chiron. It's like the tough stuff. I'm not going to say there's not going to be more stuff, especially in America before the election, but I think the really, really tough stuff has come to some kind of an end, and maybe we're in the process of regenerating at this point, kind of recuperating. And it's going to be important for you to take your time and rest as much as possible. I often see these energies as being the most comfortable, and really indulging yourself in the things that make you happy, your artwork, your writing, even if you love your job, right? Do the things that really, really kind of set your heart on fire, as we see with this Nine of Cups, because this release of the heart chakra energy is really what the world needs. And if it's even just through journaling, right? You're creating vibrations in the world. You are setting things out and contributing to the higher vibe. I don't see pile 3 necessarily really needing to go deep in the shadow. I think the first pile had, still some consolidation to do, but you guys seem to be pretty above that shadow work, meaning you've likely already done it. You've made that consolidation. You're aware of the dark side, and yet you are not controlled or consumed by it. I feel as though you are doing your best to create a world for yourself and your family and your loved ones that is exactly what you want it to be. One that is full of love, one that is full of, compassion. For some reason, I'm feeling a humanitarian quality coming through. Whenever the Six of Cups in this particular deck comes out, I always see the legacy. There's kind of a quality of generations, quality of the future. There's a quality of both past and present. Both past and future. So it's kind of the lineage, as we see with the pregnant belly here, with the earth. True concern for that which is left behind. And I see you taking it to heart, right? I see you with a genuine caring. And practically speaking, I see you acting in your belief, whether it's acting with your regard for the planet itself, right? As we have Earth in the belly here, with, environmental concerns or concerns with children, concerns with your communities, doing your part. I don't know, something simple like recycling is a part of that too, right? The really basic stuff, really basic actions that we can take that truly mean something. I feel a lot of meaning coming through with your actions right now, pile 3. A lot of meaning. Oh yeah, boom, nurture. And I often see that with the Empress card as well. There's a caring, a nurturing. Ooh, dreams come true. What are you dreaming about, pile 3? What kind of life are you thinking about? What kind of changes are you thinking about? Is that what she's doing on this pillow with her eyes closed? Is she visualizing? Is she avoiding the noise because she doesn't want to accidentally manifest something more negative, and therefore she, clearly is very, very aware of her thought patterning right now? Something magical, right? I feel like some of you are wanting a more magical existence. Can I say that? Is that, a thing? Something that is I don't know why I'm seeing like magical fairies, like in my mind, I'm seeing something like that, Maybe it seems far-fetched. Maybe that's what the noise that needs to be kind of taken out. Like maybe the dream that you have for yourself seems far-fetched, but you don't want to like have that doubt in your mind. So you're working on your meditations enough to subside that doubt or to rid yourself of that doubt altogether. Because maybe you really do have big dreams and maybe they actually are coming true. And maybe what you want more than anything is to just lean into them and have them actually manifest. And I think they will. Show the world the real you, which authenticity and purity has been a big message this week as well. Being true and purely yourself and not hiding yourself from anything or anyone. I'm getting these visions. I mean, like there's all these women in like gardens. If you have a garden, this is the week to be out there as much as possible. If you have little house plants, now would be the time to absolutely, add a few more house plants to your collection. I'm feeling more plants than I am animals, but of course animals can always be a part of that as well. But if you want to nurture your dreams, I feel like nurturing the earth is a channel or a vehicle by which you can channel your dreams. And when we show the world the real us, I think a lot of times we're all essentially the same. We all have all these different personalities and these different quirks, and sure, we have a different story and we have different, upbringings and stuff, but ultimately we're all the same, right? We all want the same things. We just want, our freedom, our happiness. We want love. We want to feel understood. We want to feel like we belong. And I think in a lot of ways, in order to have that in our life, we must also extend that courtesy to other people, no matter how strange or, different they might be or seem. No matter how different their beliefs might be or their religious beliefs might be or whatever it is. But to extend the courtesy, this is golden rule type stuff, right? Extend that courtesy to others as we would have them do unto us. And trust. Oh, I love this. Trust. And I think that's trust in the process. Trust that your dreams are in the creative mode as we speak. Trust that they are on their way. Trust that nothing is impossible. I'm feeling a freedom from you guys big time with this 9 of Cups. Like, I don't know, there's something churning. I don't know, it's going to bust out at some point. I don't know that you guys are going to be able to contain it. You guys are probably going to make a pretty major move here pretty quick. Pretty major decision is going to come on your plate, and you're going to have to make this decision. And the decision has to be in line with ultimately what your dreams even are. The good thing about the Empress is she's never afraid to make those decisions after the storm. There is an element of, of beauty that happens after a storm. And I think we definitely can look and be like, okay, yeah, the storm is kind of, waning. Maybe we're in the eye of the storm, maybe it's a temporary blip. But whatever it is, wherever we really are, we can walk outside and we can look around. And I'm even feeling the feeling of like damp grass beneath my feet, that smell right after it rains and the air is pure and clean and there are still gigantic clouds in the sky, but the sun is still poking through. That's what I'm feeling. There's a release for you. Some of you might be desiring to be closer to nature. Now would be the time to make something happen with that, whether it's just a getaway or an actual move. Journey, Redu, journey, rhythm, initiation. Initiation. Are you being initiated into a new phase? Have you crossed a threshold of some kind? There seems to be a finality with things that have happened, like a you can't ever go back kind of thing, which means the best way to do what we got to do is just put one foot in front of the other and to continue with that journey. And I think you have a very clear idea of what your journey actually is. I really do. I think you have a very clear idea of what your journey is. You have a very clear idea of the rhythm of life because we've become very well acquainted with that over the past few years. And we understand that this is just a part of the rhythm. Yes, and then we have, am I getting enough rest to restore my energy and fully show up to my life? There was a quality of regeneration is what I was hearing, especially with this Two of Coins, because it's kind of like a recharge polarity, like a battery is what I was seeing with that card. This one says, you are the asset. This body is your vehicle. Notice how your body is feeling, how much sleep you are getting, and what you can do to help your body rest. Today's mantra, the more I give myself permission to rest, the more I can contribute. And contribution is ultimately the end game here. Ultimately, it is. You don't need to be all full-on gung-ho in this moment. That's the beautiful thing about these feminine energies. They're receptive. They're not masculine, aggressive energies. So you can just allow a moment to present itself and then take it, but you don't have to create the moment. Oh, and then there's regeneration. I even used that word a couple times. Regeneration. Exactly what's happening. There's a turnover, a switch happening. And especially after a storm, right? After the storm, there's not a lot to do. You either have to wait for things to dry off, right? Not a lot of work to be done. And then we see, know your worth, skunk spirit, know your worth. And with an Empress, a Queen of Coins, and the Nurture card, and a galaxy literally within your fingertips here, as you, being the creator of your universe, the creator of your world, that is, we all need to know our worth a little bit better. Unfortunately, our worth is taken away from us culturally a lot. So we have to actively, if we weren't taught our worth as children, we have to actively learn what it means to have worth as a human being, as a person, as a creator. Hold on, I dropped a card. Let's see. I have no clue where it went. Oh, it went over there. Hold on. Okay, and the last card is originality. Blaze your own trail. There's something very unique about what's happening for you. Something very off the beaten path, and something that I don't think a lot of people will fully understand. Which means, right, that's the noise. You're just really keeping to yourself. You don't have to tell anybody anything. You just have to learn or to figure out how to create just a little bit more magic in your life. How to create just, like I say, it's kind of like manifesting a fairyland, like how do you create that level of magic in your life? How do you create that level of uniqueness? And I think you're finding a way, and you all will have your own unique way of how you go about doing this. But I think this is a beautiful path for you, Pile 3. I am super excited to see where you guys are headed in your life. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. I really do love you. I'm so, so, so grateful for each and every one of you. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.